There was a scream, a splash, and then that unmistakable mechanical death rattle, followed by silence. I didn't even have to check. I knew down to my bones what had just happened. Lila Fairbanks' precious surveillance drone had just performed a nosedive straight into her pool like some kamikaze mosquito. And all because I finally decided enough was enough. 3 weeks earlier, this mess started with nothing more than a bratwurst, a folding chair, and a little music. Saturday afternoon, sky clear, breeze soft, sun not too hot. My wife Rachel was inside whipping up her legendary potato salad, and I was out back flipping burgers like I was auditioning for some backyard version of MasterChef. Our daughter, Megan, 14, earbuds in, was curled up on the patio swing, reading one of those dystopian novels where the government watches your every move. Felt ironic in hindsight, because that's when it showed up. A buzzing, sharp and high, like a mosquito on steroids, grew louder over the fence. I looked up, spatula still in hand, and there it was. A shiny black quadcopter drone, hovering maybe 20 feet above our backyard. The camera pointed straight down like we were starring in some neighborhood reality show. It tilted, dipped slightly, and zoomed in, not on the grill. Not on me, right on Megan. She had no clue she was being filmed. I saw red. I yelled at it, waved my arms, nothing. It bobbed in the air, jerked slightly, then floated off toward the oak tree near the property line. I followed it, my stomach in knots, and sure enough, it zipped back over to the biggest McMansion on the block. Lila's. Now every neighborhood has one. That one person who believes their HOA title gives them divine right to judge every blade of grass. In ours, that was Lila Fairbanks. She didn't just enforce HOA rules, she curated them, reinvented them, turned them into weapons. Trash bins left out past 9 a.m. Warning. Planting marigolds instead of HOA-approved petunias? Fine. Host a birthday party with too many chairs on your lawn? Emergency meeting. And apparently, she had just upgraded to air surveillance. I walked straight over that evening, still wearing my apron. Knocked on her pristine navy blue door, and sure enough, she answered with a wine glass in hand so big it could have held a goldfish. Hair ironed to perfection, smile faker than a politician's promise. Hey, I started, keeping it cordial. I think your drone flew over our backyard this afternoon. She didn't even blink. I know, she said, sipping. Just doing a quick neighborhood safety check. Someone's been leaving trash bags out too long. Health risk, you know. Right, I said, jaw tight. Except your drone hovered over my daughter's face. That's not a safety check. That's surveillance. She tilted her head, this smug little glint in her eyes. Well, if you've got nothing to hide, why worry? And just like that, she shut the door. I walked back, heart pounding. Rachel saw my face and didn't need to ask. Megan just said, Dad, that drone was like, right outside my window this morning. Monday morning, we got a citation. Improper grill cover. It was from Home Depot. The next day, unauthorized garden gnome. Then, wind chimes exceeding acceptable decibel level. The pattern was clear. And the drone? Always nearby. We heard it constantly. That high-pitched whirring every time we stepped outside. Rachel stopped hanging laundry. Megan stopped opening her blinds. The neighborhood kids wouldn't even play on the lawn anymore. We weren't living in a community. We were living in a surveillance state. And Lila? She was the self-appointed queen. What she didn't know is that I used to design counter-surveillance systems. 6 years working with government contractors, drones, jammers, signal spoofers. I left it all behind for a simpler life. But Lila's antics? They pull me right back in. I dusted off my old gear, stored in boxes behind the water heater, pulled out my signal scanner, a directional jammer. Even the old frequency analyzer I once used to scramble defense-grade telemetry. Next morning, I sat under the umbrella in my backyard, smoothie in one hand, laptop in the other. Drone hovered in. I activated a weak pulse, just a flicker. It dipped, corrected, hovered back. Later that day, Lila sent out an email to the HOA. Residents, be advised. Foreign interference has been detected in our security systems. Please remain vigilant and report any suspicious devices. It was laughable, but I didn't respond. I didn't play her game. Instead, I built a directional jammer, hidden inside a wooden birdhouse. Decorative, innocent, effective. When her drone returned 2 days later, I activated it. 5 seconds. The drone twitched midair like it hit a force field, spun, then zipped back to her place like a scared dog. Lila went ballistic. Another mass email. This time with blurry screenshots of, get this, my birdhouse. No proof. Just paranoia. Then she escalated. Had some private security firm install an antenna on her roof. Signal boosters. Infrared cameras, even motion sensors. It was like she was preparing for war with a ghost. And the neighbors? They started noticing too. Tom, the quiet guy next door, leaned over the fence one morning and said, "Hey, that drone catch you shirtless by the grill too?" He chuckled, but his eyes said it wasn't funny anymore. I kicked it up a notch. Upgraded the jammer into a signal spoofer. One that didn't just block commands, it hijacked them, redirected them. My target? Her own backyard. Specifically her pool. It had to be poetic. That week, the HOA meeting was scheduled. I walked in, calm, USB in my pocket. Waited until the moment was right. She tried to grandstand, called her drone an aerial safety asset. I stood up. Before we continue, I'd like to share something about safety. Plugged in the USB. Up came clips. The drone hovering outside bedroom windows, over kids' birthday parties, scaring dogs. Dipping into people's yards uninvited. The final clip? Lila, in her upstairs window, remote in hand, drone hovering outside my daughter's room. Silence. Even her cronies on the board shifted uncomfortably. Marcia, the treasurer, leaned forward. Lila, is that your living room? Lila didn't deny it. She doubled down. If people feel uncomfortable, maybe they should consider what they're doing to attract attention. That was the moment the tide turned. The board suspended her HOA privileges pending an ethics review. But I wasn't done. That evening, I watched from the shadows as she floated in her pool on a giant flamingo, drink in hand, drone humming above her yard like nothing had changed. I waited, then activated the spoofer. Drone jerked, tilted, wobbled. Then it dropped like a rock, straight into her pool. Splash. She screamed, flailed, slipped off the float. The drone blinked red and died. Next morning, no emails, no citations, no buzzing. The silence was glorious. Lila didn't show her face for 3 days. Then came her meltdown. Flyers on every mailbox, accusing the neighborhood of drone terrorism. She even called the cops. The drone's memory card? Fried. No footage. Just waterlogged circuits. She tried blaming me. Tried blaming Tom. Even pointed at my birdhouse during an emergency HOA meeting. This, she shrieked. This is not a birdhouse. It's a weapon. I smiled. Unless the robins have formed a tactical militia, I think it's still a birdhouse. The crowd laughed. She snapped. And just like that, the board voted. New rule. No drones, no surveillance, no airspace harassment. Nicknamed, unofficially, the Lila Claus. Life came back. Kids played in the street again. Rachel started hanging laundry. Megan read on the porch swing. No earbuds, just the sound of spring. Tom threw barbecues. Someone even planted flowers in a toilet bowl just to test the limits. Nobody said a thing. A week later, we had a block party. Howard, the HOA president, handed me a trophy. A bent plastic drone on a stick. For aerial pest control, it read. Everyone laughed. I gave a salute. That night, Rachel leaned on my shoulder and said, "You planned the whole thing, didn't you?" Every second, I grinned. Next morning, Megan and I launched our new project, a snack drone. No cameras, no spying, just a basket that dropped cookies while she studied. Technology's not the problem. It's who's holding the remote. Lila still lives here, technically, but she's invisible now. Mailbox overflowing, lawn overgrown, curtains drawn tight. One night, I saw her standing in the driveway, staring up at the sky like she missed her kingdom. Rachel asked me, "You think she'll try again?" I looked out across the street. She had her chance, and she flew it straight into a pool. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever had a neighbor go full surveillance mode on you? Where do you draw the line between security and invasion? And what would you do if a drone hovered outside your window? Let's talk.